How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for April 29th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I sure did with this Mars-Neptune conjunction. It was pretty great, actually. Don't forget that my Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus reading sale is still live. So the last week of May is starting to book out. It'll probably book out within the next 2 days. I'm going to leave it up until Jupiter goes into Gemini. And then once we start moving into Gemini season, into the first week of June, that'll probably be it. So jump on that. The link to my booking website is in the description of this video, along with everything else. All the social media platforms, right? Anyway, coming off this Mars-Neptune conjunction was like a massive breakthrough. Spiritually, physically, subconsciously. Definitely some uncomfortable things came up. Some kind of confusing things came up this weekend. But also remembering how to channel those things physically, I think, were really massive breakthroughs. A lot of conversations I had this weekend, a lot of similar things in that vein were popping up. The reading I had yesterday, we had some massive breakthroughs when it came to the kind of physical and spiritual relationship and remembering things from the past that really can be supportive on our spiritual journey. Because it's not just about, being off in, Neptune land. Like, we have to be physical. We have to be here in reality. And speaking of that, with the sun now coming into 9 degrees of Taurus here, the last few days of April, we got 2 more days. This is the second to last day in April. Venus comes into its ruling sign. This is my favorite part of the year. I'm a Venus in Taurus. I love this vibe. This is my favorite. Venus coming into Taurus today, the moon in Capricorn. I think, there's a lot of grounded earth energy coming through here. Even though we still have Mars, the last degree of Pisces, there's this kind of like hump we have to get over, and this lulling, and there we could feel extra tired, especially coming out this Mars-Neptune. My dream states over the weekend were so intense, and I know a lot of people that I talk to as well. It's like, man, my fucking dreams this weekend were so wild. So I think now with Venus and Taurus, this is when the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we had a little over 2 weeks ago now, about 2 weeks, is going to start to really kick in, It's going to meet with the sun eventually, and then, Venus is going to meet with Uranus and Jupiter. So now that Venus is in its ruling place, in its ruling sign, we can start to really feel the benefits of Jupiter being here, right? It's been a whole 12 months with this Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter takes 12 months to go through one sign. So when planets and conjunctions really happen, we really start to see the results of that when other planets or the moon or the sun aspect those degrees where it happens. So now that Venus is coming in to Taurus today, this is the best window of opportunity of manifestation and growth and expansion that we're going to have all year. So this is the moment where we really have to take advantage of what this Jupiter in Taurus and what this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, is really helping us expand and really make massive changes in our lives. And, it can be very radical. It can be uncomfortable, Taurus, and with Jupiter in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus, it's like, Taurus doesn't like to change, but Venus is helping us in reminding us of our self-worth and our value and what we really, truly stand for in this physical reality. And it's like, this is what I am. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. That's Taurus. I'm I know my worth. I know my value. So being able to stay in that lane and stay consistent. Taurus is consistent. It's the most consistent sign of the zodiac. You know, Capricorn is consistent as well. And this moon is in Capricorn today. So, you know, there's a lot of grounded energy and, you know, a lot of like, okay, you know, I feel good. I'm feeling, you know, more like there's more opportunity in my life and there's more gain and expansion, you know, and new exciting things and new exciting relationships and more opportunities, more financial opportunities, creative opportunities, more partnership opportunities. You know, I think people coming into this time period, you know, we can really stumble upon some really amazing relationships and connections, new creative ideas, new ways of expressing those ideas that we never really thought we could do. You know, maybe we've held ourselves back, you know, and I think we've been dealing with that a lot with Chiron. And Mercury's still at 16 degrees, passing this area where the North Node Chiron happened. And we've been talking about this for a few days now. So I really think moving into this window here, now that Venus is moving into Taurus, the energy is going to be lightening up a lot, you know. More windows of opportunity are opening up big time, you know, and this is going to be going on all through June as well. You know, even though Saturn's going to retrograde, Pluto's going retrograde this week. Pluto's almost stopped. So that, with that being said, I mean, we want to be able to make sure that we are staying in our own lane, not getting caught up in the subconscious kind of negative spaces that this Mars and Pisces at the very last degree can bring us into, you know. Because Mars, I mean, not even Mars, when any planet or the moon or the sun is at the last degree of Pisces, it is at the last degree of the entire zodiac, right? It's like when you've taken a journey across the entire world and you come back exactly where you came to, from where you started. You have seen a lot. You have seen enough. You are tired. There is a lot of, you know, restoration that is needed, right? I think with this Mars at the last degree of Pisces, there's a lot of restoration with our physical selves that kind of need some regeneration here, because Mars in the next day or two is going to come into Aries, and this is when the fucking fire is going to be lit, right? Venus and Taurus and its ruler, Mars and Aries and its ruler. Whenever we get this kind of power in the zodiac, this is like mad manifestation. Taurus is the master manifester, right? Mars is how we manifest. It's how we go along our journey and actually take action towards what we're trying to grow, where we're headed. You know, Mars goes one direction. Aries goes one direction, and that is forward, you know. Mercury's still trying to pick up speed in Aries here, you know, so we're piecing together a lot of these kinds of issues and conversations, especially associated with our identities and our self-worth. We're starting to understand these things a little bit more here. And today, Mercury is going to be squaring, or the moon is going to be squaring over to Mercury in Capricorn. So it's like holding your own power, you know, knowing that what I've built, you know, and my identity that's attached to what you've built and what you're creating and the mountain that you're climbing, you know, it's like you can't just let, you know, any sort of kind of control or manipulation come through to kind of veer you off course. You know, there can be a little bit of, you know, conflict today when it comes to communication and, you know, the feelings that come up. Like sometimes you got to be a little cold, you know, when you feel like something isn't like in your best interest, or you feel like something is coming from some other place that is not serving you. You got to be a little cold about it and say, hey, I don't need this anymore. I don't want this anymore. And it's probably connected to where your identity issues and your self-worth issues are really stemming from, are these outside things that are kind of governing or putting limits on you. If you feel like something or someone or some system or some structure is putting limits on you or trying to set boundaries that are unnecessary or not in your favor or your nature or, in your best interest, you got to speak it. You can't be afraid to just fucking lay it out there like it is. Even if it comes off a little cold, that's what the moon in Capricorn is all about. It's not the most emotionally expressive, or empathetic moon here. But it will make this sextile over to Saturn. So Saturn being the ruling planet of Capricorn, the moon in Capricorn, making a sextile. So there is support. It's like, you got to be able to speak your truth, speak from your own self and speak your identity, from a spiritual place, whenever you feel like something is holding you back, because Saturn's kind of got our backs today, and maybe when you are a little bit more aggressive or, willing to kind of take on some conflict and communication, I think Saturn is supporting that in kind of a free-flowing spiritual kind of way. I think sometimes we have to be a little bit more serious, and if we can take things a little bit more serious today and allow Saturn to give us the support that we need, it's like, if you got to be a little cold today to speak your truth and speak how you feel when things aren't really aligning and there can be a little bit of conflict, I think Saturn can help us follow up with some understanding and some empathy and compassion. But we want to lead with ourselves, lead with our power here, because it's going to come through very strong emotionally, But overall, let compassion kind of govern the overall outcome here, and it will. Saturn's got our backs today. Mars is at the last degree of Pisces. We can feel kind of like we've been on a long journey and we need some rest, right? So there can be some kind of I've had enough energy coming through here, and if you've had enough, today's the day to just say, you know what, I'm gonna shift direction here, and I know it's not easy, and especially if you're caught in these kind of people-pleasing scenarios, especially with the South Node in Libra. The moon's going to be squaring the nodes. So it is about which direction we're headed, which direction you want to go. You want to fucking keep going along with everybody else, and where, you just want to kind of not speak your truth and speak your heart and speak your, true identity just to kind of keep the peace or please everybody else. It's not going to work. It's not going to work today. So this moon is saying, hey, it's like, we got to keep moving towards the goal. But if we want to get towards the goal, we got to really embrace our true identity and not just get caught up in everybody else's BS, And that's going to be coming up a lot too, because Venus is at 0 degrees of Taurus, which is great, right? Venus and its ruler, this is one of my favorite energies, especially now that it's going to be crossing the sun, Uranus and Jupiter, and that's going to be activated with the sun there, and then Mercury's going to be there. We are entering into the most luckiest, benefic, beautiful, expansive, radical time that we're going to have within the next few years, Honestly. Jupiter will come into its exaltation in 2025. That'll be great as well, and it won't oppose Pluto in Capricorn. That'll be fucking great, because the last time Jupiter was in Cancer in 2013, Jupiter had to oppose Pluto. That was really intense. So this is the best Jupiter energy we're going to have, with Venus here in Taurus and its ruler, with the sun here. The sun does love to be in Taurus. We want to take advantage of this as much as possible. We just don't want to be getting caught up in the South Node here. We want to stay in our past, stay in our goals with this moon in Capricorn, sextiling Saturn today. We want to stay in our true identity with this Mercury starting to move forward you know, after it just came direct, it won't be out of shadow till it hits 27 degrees, which we got another week or so, week and a half maybe to get through, you know. But it's like we're starting to really understand where these setbacks of kind of our low self-esteem, our low self-worth stuff kind of has been holding us back. And we can start to really piece it together in our minds and start to rationalize it even more than we've been able to for a long time. You know, Venus will square Pluto this week. Not exactly today, but it's a building square. So there definitely can be some power struggles coming along here, especially in relationships and creative partnerships. So we want to keep it, as practical as possible, because, we don't want to let any sort of manipulation or some force underneath it bring us down, because we're moving into the most expansive, beautiful time that we're going to have in a long time. We want to stay in our own truth, our own power right now. Once Mars comes into Aries, we're going to have this whole new physical rejuvenation that we haven't felt in over 2 years. Mars takes 2.5 years to get to where it was, right? That's a whole Mars cycle. Through all 12 signs. And Saturn goes through one sign every 2.5 years. So as Saturn moves through one sign, Mars takes all 12 signs, right? So when you look at the malefics and you look at the benefics, there's a relationship to their orbits, right? There's a relationship between Venus and Jupiter's orbit. There's a relationship between Mercury and Uranus's orbit, right? And how radical it is. Uranus is a radical planet. It's on its side. It's weird. It's like, what the fuck? Like Saturn and Jupiter and Neptune have rings, right? But they're fucking normal. Uranus is not normal. So with Jupiter here, with Jupiter and Uranus just after their conjunction with Venus here now, new relationships and new ideas and new creative partnerships and new financial opportunities are going to be flowing in more than ever, right? Wherever it's at in your chart, you want to see where it's at in your chart, and wherever it is, that's where it's going to be happening for you. So I think not getting sucked into any of the negativity, at the beginning of this Venus and Taurus transit is very important. Not letting the relationship power struggles kind of pull you out of your manifesting mastery. Taurus season is all about manifesting, right? When we get into Gemini season, it's all about connecting and experiencing new environments and, experiencing new people and, different kinds of people and different cultures and, trying new things, and, expanding your environment, right? But with Taurus is just I'm going to set my mind towards this and move towards the goal and make it happen. And we have so much support that we may not have for a long time. Like I said before, when Jupiter comes into Gemini, the sun will not meet with Jupiter in Gemini. So whatever we are expanding with Jupiter in Gemini may not manifest as quickly as this Jupiter in Taurus will, right? Especially with Uranus. Things happen very quickly with Uranus. Mercury's going to be there. Things happen very quickly with Mercury, right? And with Venus and its ruler now we can experience the full pleasurable goodies of this Jupiter and Taurus. May is going to be an amazing month. I'm excited for May. I'm very excited, We do have to get through these Pluto squares with Venus, and then Mercury will square Pluto, but that's okay. We want to be practical and objective. It'll be a little bit harder when Mercury squares Pluto. We communication and power struggles, you know, with friends and the people you're connected to, especially with people, like, especially in the fucking internet, you know. Aquarius ruling the internet and, you know, the world and being connected with the world. It's like, you know, you don't want to get caught up in any of the crap going on the internet or any of the negative kind of dark shit going on the internet, you know. But there will definitely be some new information coming out. You know, when Mercury squares Pluto, that may kind of rock the world, right? And I think with Venus squaring Pluto as well, before it kind of moves into this new territory, I mean, this is kind of like what I'm thinking is that Venus squaring Pluto can kind of shake up things financially, right? But when Venus comes to conjunct the Sun, it comes to conjunct Uranus, it comes to conjunct Pluto, or Jupiter, my bad. You know, whatever was triggered when this Venus-Pluto square happens here in the next couple days, we're going to see it this week. We're going to see some shit in the financial world kind of, bloop, you know, kind of get a little crazy. But it's not a bad thing. It's actually going to lead us into a whole new unexpected place financially and in the world as well. Whatever happens in the larger structure of things, you know, I think there could be some shakeups, but it's ultimately going to lead to a much better thing that can be more valuable to people in the end, right? I really do think that. So when these Taurus planets start being triggered by Pluto, it's ultimately going to be for a good outcome. Because after these planets square Pluto, then they got to conjunct with the Sun and Uranus and Jupiter. That's great that follow-up can happen. You know, if those planets weren't there, it may not have so much support, you know. Especially in between that, they get the sextile Saturn and then sextile Neptune as well. So, you know, when Venus and Mercury comes to square Pluto, when things get a little tense, or, you know, maybe financially, or your self-worth gets challenged, or relationships or friendships or people you're connected to, challenges come up, or, you know, things just aren't connecting in the same way, or some secrets or some hidden information, you know, gets revealed that can kind of throw you off balance or challenge your instability or challenge your stability. You know, it's ultimately for a better, positive, more expansive outcome, and it will come in ways that were unexpected and definitely not what you thought it would be, right? And we have the Page of Pentacles today. So this is very much this Venus at 0 degrees of Taurus, right? It's kind of like the beginning of understanding, you know, your self-worth. We've gone through so much Chiron triggers over the past 4 months of the very beginning. Now it's like, you know, we can have a massive increase of self-worth, you know, that can kind of bring on this new youthful kind of confidence that, you know, I think we're overdue for. And at the same time, it's like having our own space to actually execute the ideas that we want to execute, you know. There's been a lot of very fast-paced energy since January, February, March, all through April. It's been very rapid. It's been very fast-paced. You know, now with things starting to move into Taurus, we can kind of stop and smell the roses, right? Venus and Taurus, Jupiter, Uranus, the Sun, Mercury will follow. It's like, let's actually take some time to appreciate things a lot more, right? Let's actually not chew our food so fast. Let's actually taste it, right? Venus and Aries, it's like, oh, I'm just going to eat my wonderful meal as fast as I can and not even realize it and just keep going about things and keep doing new things. It's like Taurus, it's like, you know what? I'm going to put on my nice suit. I'm going to go to a nice restaurant. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to drive slow there and enjoy the ride. Put my windows down, you know, walk slowly through the door, you know, take my time sitting down, you know, enjoy sitting at the table for 2 hours, trying all kinds of different things. You know, I mean, that's very much what this Taurus season is bringing us, is like a lot of new energy where we can actually take the time to appreciate the good things in life. And that's what Taurus wants to do, you know. It wants to bring those things in. And Jupiter has all the support for us right now. Saturn has all the support for us right now in Pisces, making great aspects to these Taurus planets. And the moon in Capricorn making a nice sextile to Saturn today, reminding us that, you know, hard work pays off, and having faith pays off. And hard work and faith combined makes our bigger vision come to life, right? So, anyway, I hope you guys have a great start to your week. It's good to be back with all of you after a long week last week, being out of town and everything. So, don't forget my Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus reading sale. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment, say what's up. All the links to my social media platforms are in the description of this video, my Instagram, my TikTok, Spotify, and my booking website that you can go to ASAP. And yeah, the end of May is pretty much going to be booked out here in the next day or two. So feel free to do so for June. And yeah, have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.